Hey, welcome to Crafty Music Tips. My name's Crafty, and this is the very first reaction style video that I'm going to do on this channel. I decided to do it because I thought there's a lot to be found in somebody's reactions and a lot to learn. I'm a full-time musician, and I thought that somebody with my day-to-day life would react differently than somebody that has a different day-to-day life. So let's get right into it. All right, so I don't know exactly what video I'm going to look for, but it's going to be something from the early Beatles catalog. Let's go early Beatles live, see what we got. So we've got At the Cavern. That's pretty early. That might be their earliest ever known video recording. Let's look at that.
Session at the Cavern, we proudly present the Beatles.
Wow. So straight off the bat, you don't have that anymore. Somebody announcing. Maybe you should these days. I don't know. Kind of adds a little bit of hype. Wow, there's so much to notice. I don't know about yourself, but for me, I definitely don't always have people squashed in like sardines, especially on a Wednesday. This is Wednesday, the 22nd of August in 1962 at the Cavern. And the Cavern is where the Beatles performed regularly when they were a working band. At this point, they didn't have a single out. I think Love Me Do, was out later this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so this was just another Wednesday. And it's be curious to know why this particular video was taken and why this is the one that survived when they were performing on so many other occasions. But yeah, let's listen to the song, shall we? Sounds like a 12-bar blues. Maybe 16 bars. I love it. I love the Beatles. I love the rawness of this. It's interesting. I'm watching it thinking like, wait a minute. How many cameras did they have scattered around? Probably one. They probably did an edit where they just got later in the evening or earlier, just a bunch of people looking like they were watching the band. And but it's interesting that they've got close-ups, and then they also had something right up the back as well. And I'm trying to look closely to see if it is all in real time. But anyway, that's what you had, I guess, in the 1960s, especially for when, because these guys, they didn't even have a single out. So look at them. They're so little and so young, so much ahead of them. This 12-bar blues is a chord progression that many songs around that era would have had as a part of the song chord structure. Let's see what else happens in this song. That's interesting. You don't see that too much these days. Somebody smoking a cigarette in an indoor venue.
I am in flavor country.
That's interesting. So you can hear John singing. I wonder if Paul's singing a harmony. It's like you can only hear John. It's like Paul's mic hasn't been turned up in the recording process. He's definitely singing something, but yeah, we can't hear it. Oh, you can just barely hear him go, yeah, without the voice crack. Here we go. Oh, and do they bow? Oh, look at that. Maybe the bow came in later. Yeah, cool. That was really interesting. So yeah, let's have a look at something a year later, or a bit over a year later. Saturday, 7th of December, 1963. Let's see the difference. Wow. So at this point, they've had some hit singles in England and Europe. Hadn't quite cracked America yet. They're very close. They're a couple of months away from February 1964, I think, is when they went to America. So look at that. Huge stage, huge screaming fans, and they're live on TV.
Let me hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand.
You can actually hear both of the voices.
And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love I can hide. Yeah, you got that something. I think you understand.
All right, so there's a number of differences there. Obviously, their life, they wouldn't just be just playing around the small clubs and so forth. They'd be, playing TV shows, going on bigger tours. They've been in recording studios. They'd have a record contract. I think when that video was shot at the Cavern that Brian Epstein would have already been their manager by that stage, but they still needed to develop. They still needed the public to become more aware of who they were. All right, let's just take a quick look at what the difference is in 1965. 1st of August 1965. So that's 4 years later from the Cavern. That's definitely a thing that I quite love about John is his playful kind of energy. He can't help himself. He, even in such a huge whirlwind of success that they would have been going through by 1965, especially like we would have had, complete household names all around the world, Beatlemania as they called it, and he's still acknowledging the naysayers in a bit of a screw you kind of way, but also a very fun, witty British way. You can kind of see, through his expression that they're so big at the time. It's almost like he's poking fun of it. It's just his way of dealing with it, staying human, staying true to his individual artistic expression, because, he and the Beatles wanted to be the biggest band in the world. And then when they achieved it, it's kind of like, whoa, don't know exactly how that happened. Hey, did you notice that like what I did? That guitar just fell down. Isn't that great? The biggest band in the world, they're still human. They still have Spinal Tap-esque moments happen to them where, oops. But you know what? They soldiered on. They kept on going. And look how big Ringo's drum riser is. It's like as big as, it's like up to their waist kind of area. Let's just watch that guitar one more time. Couldn't handle the rock. Look at the size of the amps. Much bigger than earlier. Actually, I think in the other one from 1963, the amps were off stage, I think. Or side of stage so that you couldn't see them. They were definitely playing. It didn't look like they were miming, as sadly they did sometimes. But they're definitely playing live here. How's the 1965 quality filming? It's like it's just permanently fixed just on John. If this was today, you'd have so many extra shots going around. Now, how good is their harmony singing? It's awesome anyway, but in particular, it's more awesome in this case because let's have a look when you can see here. Look at this. Where are the monitors? Where are the foldback speakers? I would assume that there would be none. They're just hearing whatever noise is kind of going out into probably the really small, poor quality speakers that were being pumped out towards the audience. They can still pitch basically perfectly, and you can just hear that, like they really know their parts really well. All right, now I'd be happy to watch the Beatles videos all day, but I guess I just wanted to watch it and react in real time, watching a few of their early videos just to be able to see, you know, what were some of the things that they would have had to have dealt with compared to today. You know, like one of the things that wouldn't be different is that they would have needed to have done a lot of practice, and it's quite well documented how many gigs they did for how long per gig in Hamburg. That was before they became quite successful and well known. Also, it's really curious to see what sort of equipment they were using. You know, they were in a time when so many things around the world were evolving, and so those amps that you see there, that would have been pioneering. Nobody else would have had amps that big and that loud at that point. And the reason why I believe the story is why they were made is because the Beatles, they couldn't hear their amps set up right behind them because of how loud the screaming was. Now, I know that in the 60s it was a completely different era, but it's also really important just to note their appearance. You know, they're all in it together. They're all a team. They don't always necessarily, especially in their later career, dress exactly the same. They didn't have exactly the same hair, but they definitely had a look that they were going for, and each of them belonged in that look.
Every time we say goodbye, I die a little.
Now, what are some of the things you noticed from video to video that I didn't notice? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, check out a bunch of other videos that are on this channel. There's a heap of different subjects and topics that I go over. There's also a bunch of social media platforms you can follow Crafty Music Tips on. And also, last thing before I go, I've got a free gift for you. It's an ebook. It's called 5 Steps to Fast Improvement. I don't know about you, but whether or not you're a full-time musician like what I am, you know, you always are gonna come up to a point in your life where you feel like, you know, I just kind of feel like I'm staying at the same level. I'm plateauing. And so what I do is I give you the 5 steps to be able to make it really clear what it is that you need to do to be able to make improvement, but not only improvement, just fast improvement. So if that sounds something like it could be really helpful for you, well, I'll leave the link below. Go download it. I really hope it's a help for you. I slaved over it so that it could be something that would be able to help out people like yourself. So I think without any further ado, I'll see you in another music tips video really soon. My name's Crafty. Take care. Rock on.